What's up, y'all? Today I'm gonna do a story time about what I got diagnosed with: MS, also known as multiple sclerosis. In case y'all didn't know, um, never done a story time about it, so let's see how it goes. All right, so in June of 2018, I started having issues seeing in my right eye. At first I thought it was like a little dust or something in my eye. Y'all know how it gets sometimes. You wake up, a little bit of dust in your eye. So I kind of brushed it off for a couple days, just hoping it would go away, thinking it was gonna go away. And then like a week later, not even a week later, like it still was bad. Like I still couldn't see nothing. It was like all blurry. It wasn't fully like I couldn't see nothing, but it was blurred, real bad. So I went to the eye place in Walmart and I was like, y'all gonna help me out? And they started running tests, like normal vision tests. And it got to this one test where I had to like look into a machine and press a button when I saw a certain dot. Well, my left eye, I did it easily. Then my right eye, I looked in. I was like, I don't see a dot. I don't see a dot. And the nurse was like, what do you mean you don't see a dot? I was like, girl, let's not test me right now. I'm having issues. Let's not do that. And so I went and I saw the doctor after I did like a couple more like the basic tests. Went and saw the eye doctor and she was like, well, from what I could tell, everything looks healthy. And in my head, I'm like, well, I don't like that. What do you mean everything's healthy? So she said it could be something that presents itself as a tumor. She said it could have been something called pseudotumor cerebri, something like that, cerebri, whatever. And it could be caused by birth control. Threw my birth control in the trash. I was like, all right, that's what it is. I'ma stop it. And then I went to go see an ophthalmologist a couple weeks later because, vision was still bad. And the eye doctor had told me to go see a specialist anyway, just to confirm everything. And the ophthalmologist, she was like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't see nothing, but you're 17 years old. So if you're telling me you can't see, you can't see, and I'm gonna trust you. I was like, thank you. Like, we love her. That's gang. So she was like, I want you to get an MRI. That sounded scary. So I was like, okay. So I go to the hospital that weekend and I go in and I do the MRI of like my orbits, whatever. It's like brain and orbits. It was my first MRI. And I'm sitting in the emergency room, like the emergency waiting room, just chilling, thinking, they're gonna go over the results and I'm a skedaddle. Nah, they come in and talk about some. All right, so she needs to be admitted. Admitted? What do I need to be admitted for? So they put the little bracelet on me. They're like, yeah, you need a spinal tap. What is a spinal tap? Like, I'm 17. I'm freaking out. So they come in to do the spinal tap. They numb me. They go in with the needle. Oops, wrong spot. Bitch, what? So then she doesn't re-numb it and she goes in again and stabs me, and I just start crying because that shit hurts. I don't know if anybody ever had a spinal tap before, but it was not fun. So then they're like, okay, we're gonna have to do this a different way. Why didn't we do it the different way to begin with? Like, why did y'all do that to me? And then they put me in like my own room and they're like, okay, you need to get a spine MRI. Why? Why do I need to do that? So I go and I do the spine MRI, come back up. They're like, all right, we need to start you on a steroid, like an IV steroid. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, I thought I came here for a nice little MRI and now I'm admitted. What are we doing here? So they put me on prednisone, like through an IV, to help clear up my eye because they found out the reason I couldn't see was because I had ocular neuritis. But it was in the wrong spot. Like, it was presenting one way when it usually presents as the other way, basically. So the nerve in my orbit, whatever the frick, was swollen. So it started like, making me go blind. Because by this time, I could barely see it as it was. Like, the blur was basically nothingness. So I was like, okay, sounds fun. I'm thinking, you know, cool little 24, 48 hours and I'm be out of here. Like, that's my issue, bet. Nah. They come in and within 24 hours, they took 17 vials of blood. Like, less than 24 hours, I should say. And I'm not having a good time at this point. I don't think I was having a good time to begin with, but like at this point, 17 vials of blood is absolutely crazy. But it's because they wanted to rule everything out and try and figure out what I had. Because optic neuritis is usually caused by a bigger disorder type shit. I was like, not having a good time at all because I'm terrified. I'm like in this hospital bed over everything. I'm terrified. I just want to go home. So they keep coming in, doing different testing, trying to rule out ABC to narrow down to XYZ. And I'm over it because I'm being poked, prodded. I'm getting flashlights put in my eye, this whole thing every few hours. We got residents coming in with the doctor looking at my eyeball. Not having a good time. So I was definitely terrified because they would like come in and get my parents and like take them out to the hallway, talk to them, and then come in and just be like all hush hush with me. And I was like, I don't like this. Like, please keep me in the loop because this is my body we're talking about here. You feel me? 5 days later, well, on the 5th day, I should say. So basically, I was in the hospital for 5 days. They come in, I talk to my parents, and basically I had lesions on my brain and on my spine, like down my spine. I have more on my spine than on my brain, as far as I know. And they're like, yeah, she has multiple sclerosis. I don't know what that is. So I'm like trying to Google it as they're talking to my parents. I'm like, what can I find out that they're not telling me? So then I just scare myself even more. But it's cool, it's whatever. Basically they're like, yeah, there's no cure, but it's treatable. Now I'm annoyed. Cause what are you talking about? There's no cure. What? So the first medicine that they tried to help treat the MS was called Glatopa. It's an injection that, you know, you have to do every other day. You do it to yourself, or like the first day a nurse comes in and does it, and then like every other time you do it yourself. Well, I'm highly allergic to that. I had injection site swelling, chest pains, and a fever. So they're like, yeah, nope, can't do that one. So then they put me on this pill that was $7,800 that they wanted us to pay monthly, and then they would reimburse us. So I'm on the pill, They do an MRI like 6 months later. The MS got worse, like there's more lesions popping up. So like, yeah, nope, not working. So because the pill didn't work, the injection didn't work, now I have to be on this big old infusion. The infusion knocks out my immune system. And then it like slowly builds up back up because with MS, my immune system attacks my central nervous system. So the infusion has to knock out the immune system, like the part of the immune system that is attacking my central nervous system, basically. Yep, you do. And I'm annoyed. So I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was cooling. It was supposed to be summertime. I'm supposed to be outside. Now this all happening. For what? I don't know. So I started the infusion. It's called Ocrevus. It's definitely not a fun experience whatsoever. I feel like I got hit by a bus usually after. But I have been on Ocrevus for 3 years now. Something like that. And my MS has been stable. For the last 3 years, I have not gotten any new lesions. I wouldn't say I've had a big relapse because there's different forms of MS. I have relapsing remitting multiple sclerosis. I wouldn't say I've had like a big relapse because obviously it's stable. There's no new lesions, nothing. I do have flare-ups, but that's typical with MS, of course. But yeah, living my best life the best I can. Yeah, that's the story time and how I found out I had MS.